It's Bram Lagrou, the founder of Lagrou Partners. Welcome back to this video. This is the third video in our complimentary series, and this time I'll take you through a couple of things that will talk all about attitude. Attitude accounting for 85% of success in business development. So if you are a partner of a professional services firm, a consultant, a business owner, or a sales professional, all of you, this is really a video to watch. I will take you through a couple of things. 85% of your success will depend largely on the way you think. What do you want to achieve? It's maybe so simple, but I notice how people just get busy being busy. You can easily have your boss tell you what to do, or someone above you, but it's also very important that you personally know what your personal objectives are. And once you know those, you've got them crystal clearly articulated, not just here keep them in your mind, but also have written them down on paper, because thinking on paper is part of the success. There's a second thing you want to do. Napoleon Hill said once, what man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. In other words, what he's saying is what he can think about, which is the what, and he can believe it with his heart, he can achieve. This is the why. Unless you have a burning desire to do really well at it and achieve certain things that you have chosen, your what, unless you have that burning desire, you won't go far. So it's very important not just to articulate what you want, you need to put feeling into it. You need to feel it. You need to find reasons why it's important for you to get there, not just in terms of your brain, but also why you are so passionate about it. And that is the why. Very important component, which just takes us now to number 3. Component number 3, how. We know it in business, it's important to have a plan. I'm sometimes amazed at the fact that very few people that I talk to have plans. Not just plans for their business, but plans for their life. Just think about the people that you ask for, hey, what do you want to achieve in 2 years? Very many will say, oh, you know what, I don't know. Let's see, see where life takes us, see what happens. If we really want to get somewhere in life, the same thing with business. We don't leave it to second chance. We don't leave it to luck. We don't leave it to accident. Planning is again very essential. Becoming very clear in terms of how we're going to achieve what we want to do. Right? It's not just about wishful thinking and positive thinking and just thinking, I want to achieve $1 million here and like be really successful, and just thinking constantly about what you want. There's a bit more to it, right? Let's just be honest. And so that is how we're going to go about it. It's about putting certain things in place, doing the right courses, studying the right materials, listening to audio tapes, reading books, going to seminars, doing coaching, and so on and so on. There's certain things that we want to do, and it's about consistency. Nothing is easy in the first instance, but it becomes easy over time. When do you want to achieve certain aspects in your life and in your business career? When? We sometimes say that goal setting is only left to mere fantasies unless there is a time frame attached to it. So when do you want to achieve certain things? If you say that you want to have a property portfolio with 5 properties by 2015, well, that is very articulated, it's very clear, it's very specific, it's measurable, and it's time committed, right? You can see how you're tracking against your time. If you just say, look, I want to have 5 properties, but you don't put a time to it, it is a fantasy. It doesn't go anywhere. It could take you 20 years to get there. So it's really clear and important to also put the time frames to it. So this is now the top 4 things. What do you want to achieve? Why do you want it, which is the burning desire? Both combined create an energy house, or a very powerful energy behind your activities, which is the how you're going to go about it, by a certain time frame, which is the when. So this is the helicopter view. Let's now dive into 7 elements that typically stop people from getting there in the first place. Most of the time when I talk to professionals in their fields, I notice that it's not necessarily a lack of skills or knowledge that is the biggest hurdle to overcome. The biggest hurdle to overcome is one which I call internal. We are our worst enemies, seriously. But what I'm saying here is that anything that is somehow holding us back in our personal life, whether it's the way we think and feel about ourselves, or it is so-called baggage from the past that is somehow still tied as a chain with a very heavy lock around our leg. If we want to go forward with that sort of lock in place, with a heavy weight around it, how quickly will we progress? It's the same as if you would have that lock with a heavy load around your leg. You won't progress very fast unless you found ways to get rid of it. And so what are the 7 key limiting factors within people that can hold you back, or if you get rid of them, can improve your success and multiply your success rate by tenfold or more? Develop personal leadership. One of the things that I've noticed in my work with professionals from close to 32 different countries is always something where there is a difference in their way they think. These people won't leave it to someone else to bring the fruits of a highly productive life. They will go about creating opportunities. They won't sit back and wait for a phone to ring. They will go out and chase for business. They will do the efforts to get their carrot. They will take responsibility for their own education. In my own experience, it's only when I took personal responsibility, when I took charge, when I said, this is my job, this is my responsibility, even though I'm employed, I am really running my own business in some way. Only then, somehow, things started to happen. So, up to you. Personal leadership goes back to responsibility. And unless you take responsibility, you're going to stay put in the average where most people typically spend most of their life in. Sometimes I notice how people say, look, it's easy for you to say that, Bram, but you know what, I've got this on, and I've got problems with my wife, and I have these things with my thing, and my back aches all the time, and you know, my mortgage is really killing me, and this and that, and what you really hear, common denominator, is excuses, excuses, excuses. These people like to believe that all these things are true. At the same time, in different places in the world, including here, there's other people with similar things that still get the job done, that still get major results, and that still have a very prosperous, abundant, and enjoyable life. Why is that? Everything goes back to the way we think. And the way we think influences the way we feel. So, it's really essential for all of us, in order to reach peak performance, to gain control of the way we think. Because that way, we can be on a constant high level of performance, as opposed to being on a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster, where one day you're really up, you're bubbly, you're cheerful, everything is great, life is fantastic, and then the other day you're completely down the gutter, you feel like really nasty, you don't just get anything done, you're just sitting there and you're fearful of going to networking, and you refrain from doing the calls that it requires, and so on and so on. The emotional roller coasters, it's not for us. I have seen people who allow some sort of negativity to consistently hamper their progression in life. Whether it's in business development, in relationship building, in a private life, releasing your brakes is essential for peak performance. So find ways to do it, because any time that you allow some negativity to linger, it will influence your demeanor, it will come across and be perceived by the other parties across you. So if you're looking for business and somehow that negativity sneaks into your conversations, you will come across as being needy, you will come across as being frustrated, you will come across as being a less agreeable or nice person to be around of, and so on and so on. It will just trickle down. So find ways to just get rid of it. You don't need it. Nobody needs negativity. You can become a complete positive person, and the choice is all yours. Forgive and let go. I've spoken earlier about the impact of negative emotions as if they were like a chain with a heavy load wrapped around your leg, preventing you from progressing in life and business. Well, sometimes people find ways to actually really train themselves in their thinking so that they become more positive in their thinking. They feel also more positive on a consistent basis. But at the same time, there's one little hot button that they leave intact. There's one person, one issue, one grudge that they somehow hold on to. I remember this gentleman who was talking all the time, this person's making me sick, and he was referring to a few family members, right? He was making me sick. They're making me sick. I really feel like sick after I've had a chat to them. Well, the more he was saying this, the more he was thinking of it and talking about it, the more his organism was starting to behave accordingly. So over the years, this person got so sick that he was actually in a position to abandon his job. He couldn't work anymore. He became so sick, literally, in his body that his body was starting to manifest whatever was going on here. And typically that happens with everybody else as well. The more we allow a grudge to impact and press us down, the more our organism and our entire being will reflect it. For you to find new ways to create new habits that are as a diet full of mental protein and carbohydrates, so that you become a peak performer, that you can go on the long distance runs and that you can achieve all the results that you want to achieve. We have that natural ability all within ourselves to step it up, to reach our full potential, but it all starts with our conscious decision. Alright? So, programming your mind for success is just about teaching yourself new habits to get every day up and have a structure in place that allows you to get back on track and not allow yourself to slip back in a mode of reactivity. It's all about proactivity and creation. How often do we say, you know what, I'm really not that good at this, or yeah, I've tried it several times but it just doesn't gel with me. It's not in my DNA. I'm just not good at this. That person is way better than I could ever be at it, get at this. We constantly tend to talk ourselves down. It's as if we were criticized so much as children that somehow now, in the absence of our parents and teachers, we somehow have adopted this criticism, constantly having this negative voice in our minds, to always play ourselves down, to always put ourselves down. It's as if we constantly want to give ourselves a smack around the head. Well, how good is this going to affect our performance? Not at all, right? It's keep pushing us down. Well, the way you like yourself is hyper important. So I can only stress every day, I will always take the time to just talk nicely to myself and always say, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. That single feature has already changed my life upside down, and you can do so the same. Some people of you have already done many courses, you have already done some seminars, you may have had already a coach that you worked with on a personal level. Well, in that sense, you are aware that you become who you tend to work with most of the time. Birds of the same feather flock together. Well, at the same time, you can become a different type bird. And that is the beauty of it. So by you naturally looking for different type people that you aspire to become, they have certain qualities and characteristics that you find very positive. And even though you don't have them yet, you just look for ways to spend more time with them. That will already influence your success tremendously. Once you have found ways to articulate clearly what you want, why you want it, how you're going to go about it, and when you're going to achieve it, plus, most importantly, you have found ways to get rid of all the chains, all the limitations that you have accepted till some point in life, but right now you say, not anymore, and you do anything to overcome it. Once you are there, goal achievement becomes automatic. That is the beauty of it. It's amazing when you put your mind and your heart to work and develop new disciplines, new habits. It's amazing what you achieve in a short period of time. My clients have gone great lengths, and myself, in order to achieve something that most people would sometimes spend 10 years on. Today they would do it within 6 to 10 months. It's amazing what you can achieve.